checking in the podcast, Valerie, Edmund, the brothers and sisters, the rejects, whatever you want to call it. Y'all will learn what that means later on. But we just want to touch bases with y'all today for our first annual kickoff, the podcast, the rejects, and I would just like to introduce myself. I'm Edmund Morris, aka Dirty Red. This is Valerie Lynn, aka Owen slash slash crazy slash hateful Lynn. You'll learn that we got a bunch of nicknames, but we just want to, start off by saying hello to everybody. We hope y'all enjoy our first annual kickoff podcast. It'll be many more to come. So, peace. What's up?
And so the reason why we started to do this podcast was because personal reasons, but also for self help and like self growth, but also to help other people who look just like us, maybe not like us, but also who may be struggling personally or just within their family systems with a lot of multitude of topics. So you may hear us talk about substance use and abuse. You may hear us talk about relationships, children, just different family dynamics, work dynamics, spiritual dynamics, because all of us come from different walks of life and we experience a lot of different things, but we're all very much alike or similar in a lot of ways, and we just don't know it because nobody's really having that conversation. So we don't want people to feel like you don't have to be heard or listened to because there's always somebody who's in need. And we say rejects because we seem like we're just a little bit on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to a lot of things, but there are a lot of people who are more like us than not. So that's why, and it's more meaning to that too. But like you said, we'll get into that later. But we just wanted to just introduce ourselves. So like he said, my name is Valerie, and I don't go by all those other names, but
She will be called those periodically. So if y'all hear those names, just y'all to get used to it. And most definitely chime in. If y'all want to give us a nickname, hey, feel free. This is the Reject Show, so everything's open
right
to discussion. Y'all can chime in and give us y'all's feedback. Nothing that y'all will say or ask will be
probably not
taken
offended.
offended whatsoever.
Right.
So just feel free. Now, I will say today, all of our subjects and content will always be serious, but we can actually joke about it because both of us have a real good sense of humor. But in the core of it is all serious topics that a lot of people can relate to. Just like the topic today, we're gonna probably do addiction, mental health, depression, just all the layers that go with that, especially addiction. And me, I can attest to that because I'm a recovering addict, or as you would say, I am still an addict.
Or still in recovery.
Still in recovery because I understand the dynamic of it, and I can never let my guard down because I understand how serious the issue is. So I'll just explain to you a little bit about some of my addiction. So mine have been mostly alcohol. I've battled alcoholism. I'm 47 now, so I'll just say probably from early 20s up until today, I've battled alcoholism. My sister, she's helped me. I've had different support, but my sister, I will say she's my strongest support system when it came to really like trying to like clean up because she's very educated and knowledgeable. She has a lot of different degrees. She's a nurse practitioner. I don't know how many degrees you have, Valerie. She got so many, her wall will be filled with just a bunch of degrees. I
don't have them up, but
she got more than the average person. But she has a lot of wisdom and knowledge when it comes to, just as far as just health in general. So I'll say that, just me going through just the ups and downs of life when I was young, you dibble and dabble with a bunch of different types of, whether it's drugs or whether it's alcohol. But the one that actually got me that I couldn't shake was alcohol. I don't know. It was just my drug of choice, genetics. I don't know what it was, but
all the above.
All the above. Once it got a hold to me, even if I tried to shake it over the years, I don't know what it was about alcohol. I could not shake it. I'm not one of those people, as the doctor say, well, you can wean yourself off of
or
it.
Just stop drinking.
Yeah, just stop drinking. Don't stop at the store. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. As
What was that? I like it. I love it.
that's the alcohol. That's one of their sayings when you go like one is too many, 1,000 is never enough. Some people can drink, they can have a casual drink, this, that, and other. Once I start, that one is too many. Then when I reach 1,000, I'm still ready to go. Everybody else, they at home watching TV or getting ready for the next day. I'm way on the party, just getting started for me.
Right. And so from his standpoint, and so I'm the youngest of three, and he's number 2 out of 3, and so he's 3 years older than me. But and again, everybody's journey is different. The start of his alcohol, his love for alcohol may have stemmed from something that he needed to just really like just compress like in that moment. And like he said, he might have dibbled and dabbled, but alcohol is a very numbing substance. And when they say, everybody hears about it because they talk about alcohol because it's legal. So it like lowers your inhibitions. So then it's like I get more chatty, more whatever. I might get argumentative, ready to fight, so it just lets our guard down. So, but also it just numbs all those like, and I'm going to say a scientific term, receptors in your brain.
Right.
And so when it numbs those receptors and I'm not like just on edge, then I'm cool, I'm chill, like, and then it's like, hey, I can do this every day. And then it's like, here I got a little drink after work, no big deal, glass of wine with dinner. But then it's like, okay, well, I have a glass tonight, but then I might have 2 glasses. And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, I drink just on, after dinner. Well, then that might turn into something more.
Yeah, more of a fifth a night, which when I was drinking a fifth a night, I got to the point where I was drinking maybe a fifth a night.
Yeah. You probably want to fix that. You can tighten it.
Yeah.
And so for him, like I said, I chose not to because our father was an alcoholic. And we had other family members that also suffer from what we would consider now alcoholism, but they were functioning. And so just because you can function doesn't necessarily mean that it should be done, because really you're not functioning. Just to be honest, like just because you can get up and go to work, that doesn't mean you're functioning. Because if you have to have this when you come home, and it becomes a part of your routine, then you're not really functioning. You need it. You become dependent on it.
Yeah, now we need to push pause.
No, this is what they need to see, because I fixed that before.
I'm just saying this.
No, it needs to be tight. So this
that's
is
why you told me.
So this is why like so this is just regular sibling stuff, and this is like what happens in real life. This is like a car crash.
Yeah, she did say she fixed it, and I'm over here meddling with it, and now it done started falling during a little podcast. So yeah.
So I had already fixed it, ready to go, and then he comes fumbling with it, and now here we are.
Right now I'm wrestling with it now.
But
Can you hear me? Can you hear me clear?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, don't do me like that on live.
No, but that's okay, because then you got yourself together, so
All
it's just
cool.
all relatable, right?
We got
you got yourself together.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. She always there to help bail me out a little bit.
But it just goes to show, like, so for him, he's 3 years older than me, but we didn't walk the same personal path, because we didn't end up the same way in terms of like me drinking every day or whatever. But I chose not to, because I saw that they might have been, in trouble into things, and I didn't want to be on the radar. So that's a whole nother topic in terms of staying off the radar with your parents, because I wanted to do everything so right, that I did more of like the educational, make good grades route. But that doesn't mean that I didn't do some things, but I just didn't go the alcohol substance use route. Because I saw what he did.
She used to look at us and be like, y'all stupid.
Yeah, just dumb.
Yeah, she'd look at me and be like, you stupid.
Yeah,
because she would know.
And so our oldest brother ended up serving 28 and a half years, and he's out now, and you might see him doing lives and different things like that. So he's doing good things too. But I didn't want to go that route. So the way I chose to deal with life and certain family things that were going on was to just quote unquote try to be perfect. Not perfect real sense, but just perfect in the sense of I'm gonna make good grades, I'm gonna do sports, I'm not gonna like get into trouble. And so I stayed off the radar that way, because I didn't want to be just seen. I just wanted to make my mom happy. And so the way to make her happy was to stay off the radar. And so he didn't. He chose to get on the radar.
Would you say that you have an addiction though?
Of course.
A healthy addiction? I say it's a healthy addiction because
school?
My sister's addicted to school.
No, I'm addicted to learning.
She's addicted to learning, but she's smart because I'm self-taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's learning and getting degrees behind her name.
But I think that's
we just actually attended one of her graduations. That's what I'm saying. She has a lot of degrees.
So, and you never heard me give this spiel. So
she is addicted to school, but I will give her credit.
Sure. For sure, I'm addicted to learning.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't see no shame in that.
No, I think it's great. Like I'm really like proud of my sister. I don't need to
go to like AA for like education, like addicts or whatever. But I say, and my kids say the same thing. So right, AA.
Yeah.
But so I graduated nursing. Okay, let me just go back a little bit. This is gonna sound horrible. It's gonna go with what you're saying.
Right.
So I finished 4 years of biology. So I have a 4-year bachelor's of science in biology because I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be the Dr. G medical examiner, forensic doctor or whatever. So, but then when I finished, I didn't want to go the medical school route because it just seemed like a long time. And then there were some things that I had personally going on. I just didn't want to dedicate that, but I still wanted to help people and do the medicine thing. So then I went to nursing school. And like a lot of people, like I got a 2-year degree so that I could just jump straight into nursing and start working, which is what I did. A couple of years later, I finished my bachelor's of science in nursing because then I spent another 2 years. So really, I just count that as one degree, but some people count it as like separate, but it's just really one. So those are 2 bachelor's degrees, one in biology and one in nursing. And then several years later, I went back to school in 2018 and got my family nurse practitioner degree. And I graduated at the height of COVID in 2021. Like most people, I didn't get to walk. We were still doing online graduation. So I am a board certified family nurse practitioner. And then recently what he's referring to, because I wanted to do family medicine and psych because I love psychiatry and I love learning about the human brain and why we do what we do and how we learn, how we live. And a lot of our family dynamics really go into why I did psychiatry. But things have changed in medicine. You used to could be where you could be a family nurse practitioner and learn psychiatry, like most people, like he's saying, self-taught, and you can help someone prescribe all that stuff. Now it's very selective, so you have to be legit, honestly, you have to have a separate degree in those specialties. So that's why I went back, because I want to be legit. So if he came to me in my practice and saw me, if I give him advice and I'm just like a family nurse practitioner, but I give him psychiatric advice and prescribe and something happens to him, his family can come sue me, he can sue me. So it's very much again, want to stay off the radar. I want to be legit in what I do, but I love learning and I love psychiatry, but I also love the medical part too. So I graduated 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. And now I'm studying to take boards because I want to be board certified. To be legit, you need to be board certified.
So you did say this degree is in what again?
So it's called a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner.
So do you kind of have to be mental to be able
Absolutely.
So it kind of right.
No, not really, but yes.
No, but
but I do relate to a lot of people.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I don't mind to tell people, like I tell you. So I have a soft spot for people who suffer from alcoholism, and you'll hear that throughout the whole podcast because of him and because of my dad who's passed away as well. Even though he was in and out of our lives, there's a lot of things as I got older that I started to understand about mental health and substance use and drug addiction that I didn't know, obviously, growing up, but also that I learned along the way in psychiatry. And a lot of stuff, like he's saying, you can learn about this stuff, but you have to know how to apply it because there's a lot of different things. Obviously, our brains are very complex as to why you do what you do. Like he's saying, the doctor's like, just stop drinking. Most people who don't have an issue are quick to say that, and it's easy to say, oh, well, just stop drinking. Well,
yeah, and
there's a lot that you just can't stop cold turkey.
And it's just humiliating to a person who has, an addiction because they might not understand. You talked about people, like you said, just don't drink or don't smoke or whatever
it's a choice.
Whatever your addiction is.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it becomes, like you say, it's psychological and it's also genetic. Like me,
sometimes it's not. It's very dangerous.
Yes,
for you to just stop cold turkey.
That's what I was finna say because mine was like DTs. I don't know what DT stand for,
delirium tremens.
Right, the way my brain was operating because of how much I drunk and how long I drunk. I was a person who, if I stopped drinking, my blood pressure would shoot up sky
That's a
high.
part of it.
You know, I could have seizures. You know, like my sugar was just ridiculous. Like
Yes.
so. But I will say this. So she understood those things not only because of her education in it, but also because she talked to me. So I reached out to her and I was just like, "Hey, sis, like I'm tired. Like this is something that I really want to like conquer because I've conquered it
Yeah, if you
before.
stop cold turkey
Yeah, I've
and
stopped
not
cold turkey before. I have, but that was almost by force because I got sick and
but
was
you
in the
did
hospital. But
though.
I did stop.
Yeah.
This time it was just more so like
It was a real inner choice.
it was inner. Like
So
I
why did
woke
you
up
think you did it? Like truly wanted to just I'm tired, I'm done. Like what was the driving force behind that?
and I have a couch. That couch is in my man cave. That couch, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep that couch, but it's in good shape.
It's
That
sentimental.
is very sentimental because I would go up in my man cave. I'm one of those people that people would look at, my lifestyle. I had a nice house, nice cars. People always think, oh, he ain't got it figured out. I cut hair for over 20 something years. So, people would come sit in my chair, we'd talk and they would ask me certain opinions, my opinions on certain things. I would give them advice. So just over the years, people looked at me as more like, oh, that's Pastor Ed or that's this, that, and other. But it wasn't like I was trying to play a role. I was just giving them my honest opinion about just life in general because me and her, the more
He's
that you
my,
see
my
us,
priest. I tell him confessional
she calls
time.
me, right, she
Confessional
calls me a
time.
Jesuit priest or something. But we both are each other's because we both can relate to each other. We both have a lot of similarities. But back to that couch and back to the man cave situation, I got to the point where I was just drinking so much and I was going through some stuff. Just I guess I was probably facing depression, and that goes back to the mental.
I don't think you were facing depression.
No, I
I think
was
you were
full fledged
depressed.
depressed and
Yeah. And
didn't
not,
even
and not
know
treated,
it.
and not
Yeah, not
treated.
even true. Didn't even know it. So I was
I think
medicating.
you did know. You do. The way you
Probably.
feel, you know that the way you feel is not quote unquote normal because say 5 years ago you might not have felt that way. Or at a certain time you didn't
Yeah,
feel
right.
that
Looking
way.
at it from that point of view,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, but I was still going through the motions, and I was just like, like I would say, try to be a spiritual person, be the best human being that I personally know how to be. And I've, studied, listened to different people over the years, just really just do a lot of, I'm a kind of like a loner, so I do a lot of solitary and just really just get to understand who Ed is. But in certain instances, and I got 4 kids, even if I wasn't
No, no, tell
motivated,
them how old your kids are. Just
don't tell them.
no, tell them how old your kids are.
Uh,
You'll never be done.
right. So I got them age early 20s, from 22 all the way down to a 3-year-old. you know, yeah, and they're all active in my life.
Runs the show.
Yeah, the 3-year-old runs the show. Now the 9-year-old runs the show.
She runs the show pocket wise.
She's gonna be like her. She's gonna probably be one of those addicted to school. I mean, all the stuff that she's gonna get from me as far as the addictive stuff, she's gonna be able to focus on the positive. Like we're gonna claim that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I've always been the type because me and her grew up without a father. So I've always been active in all of my kids' lives. Like
so we wanted to do
very-
the opposite. So that's
Yeah,
another,
without a doubt.
That's another topic too. But we always wanted to do the opposite of what we had, which most people that's not uncommon to say. I wanted to do better than my parents, but no, we.
But
really
no,
wanted to
without
do
a
better.
shot of a doubt,
Yeah.
because that's a whole lot of layers upon
Yes,
layers
yes.
of we understand what it's like to be without.
Yeah.
Our kids, and it's a blessing that they have never had to have that not understanding what it's to be without.
I call them Disney kids.
Yeah, our kids are Disney kids. People
Yeah.
in the neighborhood, they just look at, man, them your kids.
Yeah.
They talk way better grammar than me.
Yeah.
They just
They walk in, it's like, is there a Wi-Fi code here?
yes,
Like,
right. They just they made parenting easy because they like genuinely like really good kids.
Yeah.
And I think we were, but the environment that we was put in kind of forced us to become a product of our environment until we started understanding if you want better, you do better. But
And there's ways, so like we were talking way before this, even because he was a barber for so many years, so he saw people from all walks of life.
yeah.
And people loved him, couldn't relate to him because of that reason. Because, I can be like thug bug or whatever, but I also can have a conversation with you and about motivation and blah 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 and working out and be very different. So just because kids come from the projects doesn't mean that they have to stay in the projects. You don't have to be a product of your environment, especially in this day and age.
Without a doubt.
And so we were having a conversation. Even if you grow up in a home, now it is hard. Like you said, if you have good mentors, like you were when you were coaching football with those young boys,
right.
You could take some of those boys under your wing, but then they still got to go home and be with a mama who might be drug addicted, and life is just full of despairs. But it is easy to get caught up in the life.
So that's what we say,
Yes.
Exposure.
Exposure, yeah.
If you expose only one thing, that's really all you know.
Yeah.
Well, with social media and just the internet and stuff like that, you can kind of get exposed,
Yeah,
but just
that's such a false.
yes, but the
false.
live exposure, taking people to water parks or football games or taking them to a nice,
Yeah, some kids have never
park.
even been to a water park.
They ain't never been outside their neighborhood.
Right,
Just
yeah.
some have never been. I know some that if they've been outside their neighborhood, it's a goal to get a haircut or
go to football practice like we do.
right, and they don't even understand it, so they'll go over there and start wrecking havoc on some stuff
Yeah.
just because it's unfamiliar.
Yeah. So they don't know what it is to want
Have
different
peace.
for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't even know what peace is because they think
Yeah.
they form a peace is the homies
Ain't
in the
nobody
hood.
shooting tonight.
Yeah, like why not?
Right.
Like what's going on?
Like, yeah.
But when I got to the point where I just felt like, is this all I was created to be? Was a provider, make money, provide for my family, and just come home and just drink and just
Well, a lot of our parents, so our mom and dad were baby boomers. So they were
Yeah.
the products of people who, or fathers that were in World War II. So they were the baby boomers. So that whole generation is, either get you a trade, work forever, go to work Monday through Friday, whatever, or go to school and work, have kids and work. And they might,
Right.
we never went on vacation. I didn't even know what it felt like to put my feet in the sand
Me
until
either.
I was grown and married, which is crazy to
Yeah.
me.
No,
It's
I mean,
crazy.
yeah.
It is, but it's not.
So me and her, we thought it was normal to move every 2 years.
We
We used to
moved a
ask
lot.
our mama like, "Hey, when we moving?"
Yeah.
And then you meet people who've been living in the same house that they was born in up
Yeah.
until they move off and have families and
Right.
stuff, and their parents still have that house. And we was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, so people
We
can
moved,
live in the
yeah.
same house like
Yeah.
their whole life?"
So for me, it was a matter of he can relate to people because of his personality and the work that he did as a barber and just being relatable to all walks of life. I'm relatable because we moved a lot, and so I was always the new kid, and I went through my struggles too because I used to fight a lot because I used to get bullied a lot because
They thought she was the nerd, and she just
I did school,
and they not knowing who
Yeah.
her brothers are or
Right.
where we grew up in. So
Yeah.
they all gonna try her,
right,
and they're like, "Oh,
but
you
it's
know, like,
okay because honey,
yeah, like oh, like yeah, like
Take these earrings off.
yeah, shoot, I really never get to fight in this school, but she
Yeah.
did, and she
But
was.
they would have to fight for me sometimes.
Yeah, when we
Because
were
I would
little,
start a
yeah.
fight. I would start a fight because
Yeah.
I really felt like, and it wasn't because I liked fighting. I just felt like I'm quiet. I'm doing my schoolwork. I'm not bothering
The term
anybody.
is she ain't going.
But I wasn't.
She ain't going on no day of the week.
Because we grew up in those neighborhoods where if you get beat up and you get bullied, they gonna always target you.
Yeah,
And I'm not finna go. I'm not going.
Yeah, nah,
And
that
so-
ain't good. That ain't
you
good.
shouldn't
Because
have to be
now
that
they'll
way.
go shoot up a school.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
back to the initial,
Yeah.
when I realized that even my kids couldn't motivate me no more. Like I told my sister, I wasn't suicidal by no means. I never
You
got to
don't
the
have to be
point.
suicidal.
Yeah, I never got to the point where I wanted to but I
But
did
what's
get
the
to this
question?
point. I did get to this point where
Have you ever felt like when you went to sleep, if you didn't wake up, you were okay?
that was when I was like, this ain't right.
So that
when I got
question-
up to
yeah.
where when I
You're
got
okay
up,
without waking
I
up.
was
You're
cool
fine.
with that. And it made me even come to, like I said, I'm a spiritual person. So then when you're up there and if I wake up cool, if I don't cool, now you even go to a deeper question of if you don't wake up, one of you, this is it. This is the only existence that is ever going to be. There's no heaven, no hell, no reincarnate, all these dogmas, whatever's going on with religion or whatever you think that it might be, this might actually be the only time we ever exist. So I was, and then after I asked myself those questions, okay, if this the only existence you're gonna ever exist, I was still came to the conclusion, okay, that's cool.
Right.
If I wake up, cool. If I don't, cool. Like
Yeah. And that's
it
not a
might never
horrible-
exist no more.
Right.
And that's when I was like, hey, look,
Was that the catalyst for you?
yes, because now it's a thing of okay, let's give this one more shot. Like let's
So
get yourself
that little
together.
spark, that little inkling of a spark that was in you that was like, let's give this just one more try. That's all you really need. I think people feel like, so I used to work as a nurse practitioner. I used to work in drug and rehab, and I used to work at an inner city hospital where, I mean, you saw people coming in ODing in the lobby, and so I had boxes of Narcan in my office because that's
What's
just what-
Narcan? See, that's what I'm saying. You got all these degrees and stuff. People don't know what Narcan
I think
is.
no.
I don't know what is Narcan.
You don't know what Narcan is? Well, because that wasn't your thing, so you would.
No,
never
seriously,
have to-
what is Narcan?
So Narcan is. Now you finna try to.
What
joke
is
on me.
Narcan?
So I'm gonna have to beat him up online. So I'm still going. But,
The word on the street is that she's not smarter than the average person.
But I am.
Somebody told me that.
But I am.
But she is. Who knows what Narcan is? I don't know what that is.
So Narcan is
Okay.
an opioid antagonist, which means so if my drug of choice is opioids, fentanyl, morphine, heroin, anything, Percocets, Roxy's, Narcs, whatever, pills, those are opioids. And so what they do, depending on, how you use it, whether you're, and there's a lot of different slang terms, out there. When I worked in rehab, I learned a lot. There's some terms I didn't even know and I would have to ask, but I wanted to know because it's like I have young kids, so I want to know these terms. But whether you're snorting it, whether you're injecting it, swallowing it, or what they call eating it, Narcan, if you OD, and a lot of people who do these drugs, they already know. They know what to do. They know. So if you OD and say you have Narcan is squirted in your nose, and it's an opioid antagonist. So what it does, like chemically, it binds to those receptors. So say you have all these little, if you envision, you have all these little circles of opioids circling in your bloodstream, and you're ODing, so you're, passed out, unconscious, almost dead, whatever. When somebody squirts Narcan in your nose, it's gonna systemically, it's gonna absorb really fast, and it's gonna attach itself to those opioid receptors, and then it's gonna basically, let's just say, dissolve them, eat them up, whatever. Poof, like you're not high anymore, and all the opioids that you've done, for the day or whatever, they're gone, and so you wake back up.
Goodness.
And but what happens is, and if pills or opioids were your drug of choice, then you already know, especially if you've ever OD'd, because most of the people that I talk to, 99% of them have OD'd at least 5 times, sometimes
Goodness.
15, 20,
Goodness.
depending on somebody's age, but because people hit it hard. I mean, people have a lot of different
So
things going
they've
on.
OD'd that many times.
Yes.
So,
And so what
and they
happens-
still, that means that they still keep on with the
Listen,
drug.
what I'm
that's
telling
that's how bad
keep
addiction.
on. So as soon as they get that Narcan and they poof wake up, no, I need to get high right now.
I'm back. Right.
No, I need to get high right now because and that's exactly what they say. So then I used to say, well, did they call the ambulance or whatever? Did you have to go to the hospital? Sometimes people, they're friends, and if you had people around, that's why you were talking to me, because you lived. Now,
Right,
some people,
right.
they OD, and sometimes they pass out and they might wake up. But for the most part, we don't really hear from those people because they died.
Right.
And so, and that's what I'm saying. People,
Which they probably was cool with.
well, yeah, because, and who knows what they're feeling? Who knows? They could have been looking over their body. I don't know. But if they died, they were cool with it. They were in that much mental pain that they were okay.
And the only thing that
Yeah.
would probably make it not all right to an addict like that is they can't be alive to get high no more.
No,
And
what
that's
makes
a
it
shame.
bad is when my friend Narcans me and I poof wake up and I ain't got
Really?
no opioids floating in my system. Oh no, we got to get high right now. And so that's what they did. So a lot of them, if somebody did call 911 and they would come out, they wouldn't go. Because one, they already know either gonna
They'll
pump my
put 'em
stomach, give me
right,
an IV fluid.
right.
I'm good. I'm alive. I'm awake. I need to get high. So go on about your way. Don't even worry about calling 911 because we just need to get high.
No, I just got woke. You woke me up. That's good enough.
Appreciate
it. Yeah, let me go on and go.
And so they get high again. So they know the routine, because that's their drug. They live it. And so everybody,
and you gonna tell a person like that, just don't do drugs no more?
Absolutely not.
Physical, your physiology, if that's a word, you can't just stop.
Because I've developed a dependence. So the term, so say I go to a pain doctor, I'm legit, I have a prescription, and I take 2 Percocets a day. Am I a drug addict? In the sense of the medical world and real life, no, I'm not a drug addict. However, if I've been taking this Percocet twice a day for a year, 5 years, 10 years, guess what? My body has developed a tolerance to this medication. If you take that Percocet out of my system and I go cold turkey, guess what? I'm going to have some similar symptoms as if this person over here has been taking street perks every day. The only difference is the drugs that are on the street now are not 100% of the drug. You are not going to find only heroin or only morphine or only methadone. It's a Skittle bag. And that's the scary part, because so I'm licensed in multiple states because the job I used to work at, we had to get licensed in other states. So if I talk to someone from Ohio, Kentucky, Las Vegas, Colorado, they know these drugs are not just a Percocet or a Roxy or heroin or morphine.
Of course.
But it used to be that way. Years ago, you could just I just want a bag of cocaine. Cool. Now, when I used to tell people, well, you were positive, because I always made a point to tell people what their drug screen was positive for.
Right.
So I'll say like, oh, well, you're positive for fentanyl, morphine, methadone, like benzos. I don't take Xanax. Well, this is what it is. So what happens is they don't know that the drug dealers are mixing and cutting these drugs with all these substances. And so now some do, some knew, but some, when you're addicted, you just got to have it. So this one lady told me, I'll never forget, she was like, I'm allergic to morphine. And I said, well, what does morphine do to you? So she was like, I get highs, blah, blah. And she was like, you know why I know I'm addicted to morphine? She was like, because the drug dealer that I was getting my drugs from, like say she was going to buy, she's thinking she's going to buy some opioids or whatever, like heroin or whatever to use. It was cut with morphine. And she would get a rash all the time. And so she was like, of course, who's going to really tell? You can't check the drug dealer, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, she cool.
No, she went to another one, like, because he cutting his with morphine. I'm allergic to morphine. But it's just stuff like that, though. But it's just like, and that's the scary part. So when young kids used to tell me, like, they kind of try different substances, I'm like, that's very dangerous, because now it ain't the same. They putting pesticides in drugs, embalming fluid in weed. Like, it's scary. Like, so alcohol is, the scary part of alcohol is it's legal. And that's why it's so dangerous, because of what it's the same category as Xanax.
So check this out, because a lot of people don't know this, but when a person is checking in with his heroin or all these drugs you talking about, what's the number one that they have to watch for the most?
No, the number two.
Okay, what is it?
The one, and this is just a tidbit pearl for any like nurses who want to be nurse practitioner, work in addiction medicine. The 2 you should be worried about is alcohol and benzodiazepines. And benzos are the Xanaxes, Klonopins, those type drugs. Why? Because they are dangerous. Those drugs will have you having seizures.
When you say number one to what?
In terms of like
the people that's gonna get withdrawals, the most dangerous
those people you have to watch like a hawk.
So if I check myself in, you have to watch me more than a heroin patient.
How long you been drinking? About 20 years. How much you drink a day? About a pint to a gallon a day. Hey y'all, when we get
right, but that's crazy.
But no, that's the conversation we have, because I need to make sure somebody has eyes on him every 15 minutes.
So out of all the drugs.
So this person over here only did stimulants. So we talk about methadone, like amphetamines, Adderalls, uppers, cocaine, da-da-da. Okay, cool. Will you withdraw and feel like crap? Absolutely. But stimulants ain't going to kill you. withdrawing off of opioids, heroin, pills, where they make you feel like crap, absolutely, it ain't gonna kill you. These people that do the Xanax bars, Xanax prescription, Clonopins, all those Valiums, all those type drugs, Ativans, those are benzodiazepine drugs. And then you got alcohol. Those two are like brothers and sisters. They do the same, they have the same effects on your body and brain. So they are the number two. So it's like, he coming in and he's like, yeah, I've been drinking on and off since I was 20. And you how? 40 something? We need to watch him every 15 minutes and to make sure he's breathing, do his vital signs every 15. We need to make sure, because he's going, and we'll talk about like how you felt. And everybody has different, how they do their bodies. Yeah. But those two substances are the most dangerous. And the dangerous part about alcohol, it's legal.
Yeah,
and
that's
right. The dangerous part about it, because it's legal.
Yeah, even when the COVID was happening, it was considered an essential business. Yes. I cut hair, they shut us down.
It's essential. Why? Because we don't want you having a seizure.
It's so bad to where liquor stores are staying open. Yeah. And so it's kind of like
alcohol and
liquor stores just in general, where they're located and all that. That's in itself something totally different.
It is, because different zip codes are gonna have.
Yeah, so that's something. Yeah, and I fell for the trap, but at the same time, we know once you fall for the trap, now
it's not really fall for the trap. When they say these commercials, and I look at it different, and you may look at it different too.
Yeah,
drink responsibly. Oh, because you don't want to be responsible for me going out driving while drunk, and everybody knows you shouldn't. But if I'm at my height of alcoholism and I've driven to and from, I'm just going to my house, it's about 5 blocks away. Listen,
I don't think I could pass a breathalyzer test a day after.
So you know what? We really didn't harp on breathalyzers. So if somebody couldn't do because some people can't do breathalyzers because of their health history, like they can't breathe out that long to register. It's very subjective, meaning it's almost like a lie detector test in court. You can do it and you can be like, oh man, this person did it probably, but you can't put it in court. Like, it's not gonna hold up. Same with breathalyzers. Yeah. Like, now we did do it, and some people blew 5 times above, 20 times above the legal limit, and they just sit here talking like me and you. Them people,
yes, that was me.
Them people those are the ones you like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, blood pressure probably 200 over 150 or something. And
conversation.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like ain't nothing. I done went to the doctor one time. The doctor, like, man, you all right? They got to check my body now. You need to go on and go to the emergency room. You about finna stroke out, and I'm sitting here having a regular kind. I just ain't feeling too good, what I'm saying? Because I'm so used to having these hangover feelings.
Liver that's screaming just.
Yeah, she used to pick with me. She'd be like, yeah, you got a seasoned liver. I'm looking at myself. Eyes all yellow,
and so when
skin, I'm already yellow, but she could even see that it turned yellow.
One time I think I was talking to you, I went to your house and I was talking, I was like, you're jaundiced.
You jaundiced.
And you were like, how would?
I got to taking my glasses off, looking at myself in the mirror. I wasn't the person, because I was always like an athletic person, played sports in school, happy-go-lucky. Now, I put on that front when I went outside. When I came home and started that drinking, I go up in seclusion. I play with my kids and all that, And that caused problems even with my marriage. My wife, she didn't want me drinking like that. She was like, you just going to wait till it happens and you just going whatever. So it
changes your family. That's just another part.
That's what I'm saying, addiction in general. That's why
the family dynamic.
But I have, like I said, once she took me, she got online and she looked at some places like, hey.
You're trying to jazz it up, but let's just go back to the real, like, before that I got a string of text messages, like, and I was like, dude, are you okay? Like, why are you just, we were beefing, basically. We were battling out, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this with you at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And
yeah, she gave me a plan.
I did.
She gave me a plan, and she meant well with the plan.
He just didn't.
But the police got involved.
Yeah.
And I don't do police. She don't do police. I don't do police.
But when you change certain things, like
it was more so like voluntary. It was more like voluntary. Yeah. Like it was, it's gonna be voluntary. They're gonna do this and they'll do that.
Yeah.
So when they came, I ain't feel like paying for no ambulance.
And if it's a safety aspect, whether they think that, And who knows if they think that you might be in danger to yourself, or they feel like they might be.
See, she ain't explained all that.
Well, because I didn't want to like tell your business.
Yeah, she ain't explained all that. So now that when I look up and paramedics all in my face, and it was pretty much like, it's not even voluntary that you get on this ambulance.
Because they were like, we
it's
want to
mandatory.
help this guy out. Like,
so I was like, well, I'll go,
yeah.
but I'll get in my car and I'll go. I'm not paying that. Nah, you ain't. I said we need to get on this ambulance. Like, so now it's like, hey, so she like, I'll pay for the ambulance or whatever after. But I look outside and it's 2 police cars in my front yard. Man, the police, they didn't even get out the car. They didn't get out the car. But I did. I ain't gonna lie. When I went to the hospital, I'm texting her, hey man, you got the police calling on me, man. I thought,
so that's that, like.
But I did.
Like when we grew up in bad
neighborhoods,
the police after me, the feds.
Man, the police, they all ever. So I thought she was about to say, so I did sit her like, you gonna answer your phone even though it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm going too.
So then she did text, she did respond, hey, bro, like. And I did. I had to apologize because little sis, like, her heart was in the right place.
And you don't really know, and that's why people, if they have it, and a lot of times with alcoholism and other substances, whatever, whether you do either or both, they do kind of sometimes, a lot of times, burn bridges with their family and close friends.
Yeah, most definitely.
And sometimes they are alone. They end up being alone, which is a whole nother aspect.
Yeah, it's layers. It's a layer.
It is.
It's a layer.
Very complex because now it's like, well, I can't trust you because the last time I helped you out, you did this, and you back and forth. I can't have it in my life, so you know what? You just out of my life. And so it does become the lonely man on the island for a lot of people, and we see that. And I was like, you know what? I'm the youngest, but I wasn't going to like let him just be like, no, you better than that. Like you don't want to end up like our dad. And it's like, no, you finna go somewhere.
Yeah, and I didn't.
You finna go. I'm gonna pick you up.
Yeah, she did, and I remember it was.
It was like 4 o'clock in the morning.
And it was raining.
They were like, if you get him here by this time, we can get him in today. And I'm like,
yeah, it was raining. She found the place. She got online and she found the place. But like I said, she was really one of my. It still is like one of my biggest like support systems.
You're not gonna fail if I'm your friend.
Nah, you're not.
If I care about you, and you really want to, and I know that he really wanted better for himself. It really not.
And like you said, like I said though, I was the person down the outside looking in.
Oh yeah, he looked like this.
It looked good. Not even this. I mean, I am healthier now.
This doesn't scream.
But even if I do a barbecue over my house and stuff, my kids look nice, my wife look nice, my house look nice. I keep my cars up, so I wasn't.
It's the facade.
Yes, I wasn't just. You couldn't visually see it. You couldn't visually see it. You could visually see. She knows me.
I'm a good actor.
Yeah.
Any
so
nurse is a good actor.
Us. The way we grew up, and like I said, that's for another podcast. But the way we grew up,
nurses are good actors. We're the best actors.
Yeah, and then even in the black families, you got to be because it's always little secrets.
Sweet stuff under the rug.
Hey, you got to do this. Mental. You mentally weak if you go seek help. So you always try. Men can't cry. It might be a little secret. That you gotta keep. Hey, don't talk about it. You better not talk about. So then you get all these different layers too.
So now I'm a good manipulator. I'm a good liar. I'm a good cheater. So then So if I am doing drugs, guess what? Because of what I learned in my younger years,
those skill sets. That's
a skill set. Let me tell you.
It's a skill set.
Let me tell you.
It's a skill set. You know how to say the right things.
I can play the part good. And that's not good.
It's not.
Especially when you get into dynamics of relationships. It's like I can play it well. I can play it well.
You gotta play the game now.
Yeah, you do sometimes. Depending on what you're doing.
You nice looking, make good money. I mean, I might play and try to see if I can.
If opportunity,
I'm talking about you.
Who, me? I'm tired. I'm too tired.
You too smart too.
But really got. But you know what? You made a good point because not too smart because there are a lot of people. So I don't want people to hear this and think that the only people that suffer from alcoholism is people who grew up in a bad or just addiction.
Right.
Grew up in bad areas or they didn't have one parent. No, don't hear me say that because I'll just use myself. I can be married, have kids, have a good education, and be
look good
drug
on the outside looking in, look
because
real good.
A lot of medical people have struggled with addiction, especially the ones, say like a nurse anesthetist who give anesthesia. And, they are top 10 drug addicts. I mean, so yeah.
Is that why they can find that vein so good?
I mean, no. Like, that's why they can put on the show, because in the back of their head, it's like, as soon as I give Mr. Ed like this little bit, the Michael Jackson Purple Fall, right, I'm gonna be giving myself some, so I'm good.
Goodness.
And so we had.
Let me see how he respond to it, just in case if I give a hot dose on accident.
So I got this whole bottle. I'm only gonna give him a snip, so I can just be good all day long. And so, especially if you work in emergency rooms, you work in labor and delivery like I did. I mean, we could just get them drugs out because we give them all day.
Well, like you said.
But it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. You can be.
Or what state or what, because you be on those calls and they was all around the United States. So
that particular job, yes. So,
they was all around the United States, and they were different drugs of choice. Ages, so this is just not, this is just addiction in general. I'm just speaking on alcoholism because that's what got me,
but in terms of alcoholism, though, I just need people to understand, like, just because you might not, I ain't been drinking 20 years, it doesn't matter. It's the amount of alcohol you drink, the alcohol content. It really doesn't matter to get into the logistics of, like, the content of the alcohol. If it's become a daily habit, that's why we used to...
leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Just when you go home. No, I'm saying when you go home, just to test yourself. Because people will, I just have a little drink after work to wind down. Don't do it.
So this is what the psychiatrist used to say, which I love, and I still use it. So the psychiatrist would say, okay, so if I sit this favorite drink right here on the table, your favorite alcoholic beverage.
Okay.
How long are you going to take before you just thinking about it constantly? Can you go through the whole day without drinking that? If you can, okay, I believe you ain't got no problem. But I'm telling you, you can't. And I've never heard one person say that, because hypothetically, if you, like, I ain't got no problem, you don't. So if I set your favorite liquor right here, you mean to tell me you might be doing this, I ain't got to do it. Okay, well, why are you focused on it? Like, why, that desire.
Just get off work after 8-hour or 10-hour shift or something, and that drink right there.
Can you keep going?
You just had a rough day at work, and you
want to numb out.
Yeah, you just want to numb out. You might have gotten your kids getting on your nerves. Just any of that.
I have money to pay my bills.
Any of that. Yeah. Any of that. Yeah. So
my old man getting on my nerves.
Yeah, I need a drink to wind down. I mean, if you can handle it, I will say, if you can handle it. If you can handle, have your little shot or something or whatever. I mean,
that's different. That's social drinking.
But a person like me, I can't do none of that.
So you can't.
No, I can't do never. And I'm not never going to trick myself into thinking that I can.
And so
I cannot.
And so a lot of times people, it's not.
And by the way, y'all, I've been clean for 3 years now. A little bit over 3 years.
Wait, we got to do the clap.
Yeah, 3 years, y'all. 3 years. No anything. And
and I'm proud of you for that, for real.
I appreciate it.
Because that's hard work, because you did make a point to say, any day, any time is a moment to celebrate.
I mean, I'm a Celtic fan. The Celtics won the championship. Oh, man, I'm trying to kick it. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's New Year's, I'm finna get a drink.
Oh,
we ain't got to work this weekend. Oh, for real? We ain't got to work this weekend? Oh, no, drink. Everything.
A celebration.
Because I'm one of those, I don't have to have a reason to drink. I'm just going to drink because the liquor store there. But now...
Yeah.
You might see, and you got to learn your triggers. You might see something on TV where some people just sitting there.
Your favorite show come on.
Oh, you can look on the internet and see when people having a good time or they so having a good time. Yeah. First thing they do, they got a drink in their hand. It's about 4 people on a picture and they all got a drink in their hand. I'm looking like, ooh, that's clear. That's my drink of choice, y'all. They got that clear, you know what I'm saying? And they looking like they having a good time, all dressed up. Yeah. And I'm like, boy, that was me.
But that's how. But we were talking about that. Especially at Christmas time, when everybody's having Christmas parties and the whole social drinking, and everybody's all dressed up in their little, Christmas outfits and at the bar, just like socializing.
Yeah, they little drink, holding they little.
And that could be a trigger, because it's like...
It is a trigger. It is. A song come on the radio.
But it's very damaging, especially for young teens and young adults who don't have, a real sense of who they are yet.
Because that's an image of, that's how you have a good time. Fun. That's how you have a good time. You smoke a blunt, the rappers...
Yeah.
You know, they talking like they done. Them,
They
what you say?
carry
The second one was it was alcohol. And what was
Benzo, Xanaxes,
okay,
Antibars,
so now you look
Klonopin,
on
yeah.
TV and stuff and see your favorite rapper. He looking a hot mess and
Yeah.
and he can't talk. He's slurring and
Sipping
about. Oh, they
sipping
just
on the scissor.
oh, they used to be sitting in my chair and they'll start off and they having a very good conversation. I could tell the one was on them. They by the time that 20, 30 minute haircut, I'm like, hey man, you finna try to get in your car and drive? You
Yeah.
alright? Hey, hold on, who with him? You know what I'm
And
saying?
it's sad because I mean,
But that's
I love
some of the
rap music.
culture.
It is culture.
That's just some of the culture.
Normal to sip on scissor. Okay, well you saw this person rapper fall off the stage and had a seizure. Is
Right.
it still cool? Then?
Now y'all about 3, 4. I
He
know
was
we
just
all
dehydrated.
Now y'all right. Now y'all 3, 4 deep in the car. Everybody on dope.
Everybody get
Everybody
pulled over.
got guns in the car. Everybody got dope. I mean, just like that. Why I said fall for the trap.
But
Meaning these are things.
But you
that-
have that person sitting in your chair, whether it's you or that person, and it's like I never understood. So I never indulged because I didn't understand. Like you, just like this in the chair. How? Why
Man,
is that fun?
that's not comfortable.
That is not fun. So
That's
somebody
not
could
it.
catch you slipping, rob you, like you drive, like
It's a blackout. Like people used to tell me, "Hey man, I blacked out, man. Somebody hit me up about
No.
5,000. I had 5,000 in me, man. I was at
I'm
the club
sick.
and I'm blacked out, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and dude,
I'm
you
sick.
gonna get behind the wheel? Like when they was in my chair, hey man, who with him?
But then when they it's
Hey
gonna take a while
man,
for them to
you
sober up.
drive them, like, and then they'll wake up and be like, man, cuz I don't even remember nothing.
But you know what?
And you want to be like that, but that's just
But I met
that's
some
how
young girls in
strong
college.
addiction is.
I met some young girls in college, so the game of that is they want to black out. I said, I'm sorry, what?
That's crazy.
And
That's
so this
that's the
is
goal.
more- that is the goal. And I'm like, whoa. So now, and this because I have a daughter.
And you got to do a lot to black out.
But we talk about these group of girls that I was talking to. They were college age, and they didn't look like us. Let's just put it like that. But it really don't matter. It's the fact that the goal was to black out. That's the goal. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me the goal is to black out? So now, if we all blacked out, who watching who? Because I didn't drink, so I was always the designated driver. So my friends, we go to the club in college. They know they can drink because guess what? I don't have to drive. Valerie is always driving, and I'm cool. Now they didn't black out, but these girls these days, oh, they off the chain.
Yeah.
The goal is to black out. So I'm like, so there's so many different dynamics just to that one thing. And I'm not saying that you can't drink responsibly, but if the goal is to black out, like I don't know how that's fun. I don't know.
Is that scary? You wake up
And you don't know
in
what
the bed
happened.
next to a dude you ain't never met
Or
before.
body parts
Oh, that's
hurt.
about
Or
20 people. And somebody was sitting there
Or
recording
body
how
parts
goofy you
hurt.
are.
They
the
wasn't
whole
hurting before. Like,
yeah,
why
like
these body parts hurt. You know what I'm saying?
But
Your
you know,
tooth might be knocked out.
yeah. I don't woke up. No, you bring me back. You don't bring me back to a memory.
No, not you. I'm
telling you.
female.
I'm telling you. I woke up. My son. That's why I kind of get quiet. I woke up one time, shirt all ripped. I mean, her blood
Fight
coming
for
down.
your-
I done came home and done knocked everything. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm sitting there. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know what happened.
Yeah, I felt it was it was something in the way. I think it was when this how far back I lived with mama. Mama had some church stuff, so it was table. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
So you know how you could walk down the steps and then walk in my
Yes.
room. She had some tables and they had
Yes.
that metal.
Yes.
I done knocked everything down. Come to find out, but that night I remember I woke
And
up.
you see what I'm saying?
shirt-
That night,
I could have died.
you were numb though.
I could have.
It numbs your brain receptors.
I was able to go to sleep.
But that's why when drunk drivers, you always hear about the driver lived, he was drunk. Yeah, because I'm driving sober. I'm gonna be bracing, my muscles are tense. He, like he said, he
Yeah,
fell,
relax.
put his own
Yeah,
arm. He like, oh, this is just a scratch.
yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. Wake up. And,
You done got a
hell?
gash, bleeding to death.
yeah, what the hell?
Been fighting with ghosts or something.
Man, but
Yeah, that's dangerous.
But you know,
it could have been
yeah,
way worse.
I'm saying it in a joyful way, but seriously, like people have fell off porches and
Ravines.
stuff and
Oh,
done bust their head or
broke two
died.
ankles.
Right, broke 2 ankles. Like
It's not fun.
I mean,
like,
it's messed up. It's messed up. So you know, I will say this though. If a person who's listening to this or somebody has a family member, like I'm telling you or telling the addict, you know, like if you really, really want to quit, like the way we was created as humans, if you really want to quit, you have to have not just motivation. You got to have discipline. Like, because motivation going, well, some days you're not going to be motivated. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be motivated to not want to drink because you're going to get triggered. Or you're going to be motivated. So you got to have discipline and you got to start.
That's the thing, triggers. You said triggers, and I just want to make a point to that because whether it's any substance, alcohol, or whatever.
Any of them.
People have triggers. And so
you got to start learning them.
And some people
you gotta start learning.
And the questions that we used to ask on it in admission to the rehab units were like, do you know what your triggers are? Or have you been able to recognize your triggers? Some people said no. And some people said, no, I know my triggers. And a lot of times for people who don't have enough money to move out of their area, because it's really sad because, and I'm not knocking people for their hustle because you just do what you got to do. But a lot of times, like, drug dealers know if a person been gone for a month or two and they've gone to rehab, and they will find them once they leave because it's like, hey, Val, like, you know what I'm saying? You want to like hit you, whatever they say. And it's like, now, this person might have went to rehab. They trying to do better. Like, go on. Yeah, they don't care. But they don't care. But that's another thing.
Friends too.
Friends too.
If you used to hanging around people who doing that drug of choice.